After suffering their first home loss of the season, VCU looks to right the ship with A-10 play on the horizon. Tonight, Niagara makes their first ever trip to the Siegel Center as they try to hand the Rams a second straight loss. And with that, we welcome you courtside here at the Siegel Center. I'm Sean Robertson. Great to be back with the coach, Sean Kearney. Last week, VCU suffered a disappointing and heartbreaking loss to New Mexico that dropped them in both the KenPom and net rankings. How do they right the ship against Niagara tonight?
They'll have a chance to compete in every aspect of the game tonight. I think they'll come out and play very, very hard and look to do just that.
We're speaking about Niagara. They started 2-1, but they have lost 7 in a row. A reason why they will not try to get 8 from their perspective will be their player to watch, Justin Page.
Justin Page, he's a Peoria, Illinois native. He worked hard on his shooting over the summer to add to his already strong drive game, and he's their most consistent scorer. He led them with 18 last Saturday in a loss at Morgan State. And then on the other side, for the Rams, you've got Nick Lewis, a tough, physical floor general, playing with a maturity beyond his years. He led the Rams in scoring with 14 in their loss to New Mexico, and he looks to help lead this group back into the win column tonight.
Let's talk about our CarMax keys to the game, starting with the visitors from Niagara.
The Purple Eagles are going to have very many concerns on both ends of the floor tonight, but one area would be for them to limit the Rams to one shot. And then for them offensively, they've got to have success from 3. Upsets can happen when you can make threes. And then on the other side for VCU, 40% field goal percentage defense for 40 minutes, and they'll have a chance to suffocate Niagara tonight. And then they need to be improved from the three-point line. Good shots to great shots will help those percentages.
Those are the CarMax keys to the game. Want to bring home the win with CarMax? Shop confidently online or on the lot with upfront prices and CarMax certified quality on every vehicle. Score your next car at CarMax.com. Want to drive? CarMax. The starting lineups and the opening tip. VCU and Niagara. Yours next on Masson and on ESPN+. Almost time for tip-off here at the Siegel Center between VCU and Niagara. Here's a look at the Purple Eagles starting 5 presented by the Red Door guys. They can help you get rid of the unwanted property just as fast as the Rams want to get rid of Niagara tonight. Give the Red Door guys a call at 804-373-7267. That starting 5 led by the player to watch, Justin Page, averaging a team best 11 points per game, just outside the top 25 in the MAC. And the VCU starting lineups presented by Steelhead Management, an official partner of VCU Athletics. Steelhead Management providing VCU and Ram fans with the best lineup both on and off the court. VCU starting 5 led by our player to watch, Nick Lewis, one of 4 players in double figures as he's averaging 10 points tonight, 2-time A-10 Rookie of the Week. We got ourselves a Final Four officiating crew again. Must be Sean Kearney bringing these guys here to the Siegel Center. We got Roger Ayers, Ron Groover, and Lee Cassell. A great 3-man crew tonight here at the Stew with VCU controlling the opening tip.
Sean, it always has to do with the day of the week. It's a very light schedule. These guys are available, and we're thrilled they're here tonight.
It's the only matchup involving a team from the A-10 as Barry Evans sinks his first shot, a corner 3 for a 3-0 lead. Evans' 7th made 3 of the season came in shooting just above 23% from distance. Justin Page, nice pass underneath to Will Short, the sophomore from Sydney, Australia.
Short's an effective big guy. He can score with either hand and had a nice little catch and finish at the rim.
Evans finds Lewis, and Short clears. Niagara in transition as they trail by 1. Landon Williams getting a touch and hitting his first shot to give Niagara a 2-point lead.
The lefty gets a start as this group is a little bit undermanned. A couple guys under the weather. Williams gets a start and makes the most of it.
Down 3 guys, 3 key contributors for Coach Greg Paulus. Djokovic's pass is off the hands of Tracy, and here comes the Purple Eagles with a 2-point lead. Reggie Prudhomme, the grad student from Missouri City, Texas, looks to Short with the fadeaway. Will Short with 4 early on, and Niagara has their biggest lead.
Short got confident with that first early look.
And Nick Lewis looked confident with that three-pointer.
Oh, he's just a terrific guard. I'm not sure he's your atypical point guard. He's just a guard, knows how to play, and he really competes hard.
That ended a 7-0 Niagara run as VCU trails by 1. Prudhomme for 3. In and out. Tracy the rebound. Lazar is calling for it on a mismatch and is fouled as he hit the floor hard.
The Rams should absolutely have an advantage down low tonight, and I think anytime that a Djokovic has position down there, when I think of it, I think of a guard or a perimeter player on the wing. When you can see the numbers, and Djokovic wears 17, you can see that 17. I think the ball's got to go inside.
Will Short will come out after picking up his first foul. Kabeya Shabangu, a fifth-year senior from Justin, Texas, wearing number 8, will see his first action.
Short had 2 fouls early in that first half against Morgan State and wound up sitting. So Coach Paulus may want to try and kind of use his time wisely.
Niagara lost to Morgan State on Saturday, 81-73. Jennings on the drive and knocked out of bounds by BJ.
It's a fabulous drive. He'll tell you he's got to finish that play.
The sophomore from Richmond, Virginia, right here in the capital city, went to St. Christopher's, 3rd all-time leading scorer in Saints history. The pressure comes by VCU, and Page saved it before it went out.
So far, Niagara has handled that full court pressure, and they've sort of pulled it back to try and get a little bit longer possessions and make sure they run their stuff.
Under 10 to shoot by Prudhomme, and he comes up a little long. Here's Nick Lewis. Extra pass to Evans. 2 in a row from behind the arc for Barry Evans, now with 6.
In our keys, I talked about changing from good shots to great shots, and so far, for the most part, I think the Rams have taken some excellent three-point shots and have had success doing it.
They're amongst the nation's leaders in three-point attempts. Tracy with another one, and VCU is 4 of 5 from three-point land here early in the first half.
Well, sometimes shooting can be contagious, and I think the Rams are seeing that early.
A 9-0 spurt by VCU. Prudhomme ends that spurt as he sinks his first from distance. The graduate student from Missouri City, Texas, who is shooting 39% from 3, that's 11th best in the MAC, has pulled the Purple Eagles to within 2. Tracy again, this time short and recovered by Landon Williams.
Niagara played a 2-3 zone that time. Coach Paulus changing up defenses a little bit on VCU.
The voice of the Purple Eagles told us Landon Williams had been practicing well and got the start tonight for Greg Paulus as Hawkins' first shot comes up short. Rams with a 2-point lead. Lewis finds Djokovic inside against Shabangu. Jennings for 3. They can't miss, it seems like, from behind the arc. That's 5 made threes early on for VCU.
I think they want to make sure they don't fall in love with it, but that was a great sequence. It went inside to Djokovic. He found Jennings out there on the perimeter who buried that last 3.
4 of the 5 starters have made a basket. Djokovic has yet to score for VCU, and they up 5. Tracy comes up with a deflection, and that brings us to a timeout. And almost a brand new foul will come up after the break as VCU holds on to a 5-point lead over Niagara. VCU leads the A-10 in both three-pointers made and attempted this season. They're living up to the hype, Coach Kearney.
Yeah, I think, the terrific thing is that these passes have been made right into a shooting pocket and has taken these perimeter players right into their shot, which is going to help their percentages. And I think that for the most part, they're taking terrific shots tonight. And I think it's also the right people taking the shots. Sometimes a three-point field goal percentage for an individual should be in that 33% range to be considered a terrific three-point shooter. Some guys on this roster are well below that. I think sometimes that could be based on the shot selection, and maybe they're not even doing it well in practice, because I think coaches decide that throughout a practice season.
They're currently 5 of 7 from 3 in this first half. Justin Warsaw sees his first action as Tyrone Ward's pass is stolen, and Shabangu inside rocks the rim for Niagara.
He Shabangu'd that one on that turnover.
Little miscommunication there by the Rams, resulting in a Shabangu finish, as 4 of the 5 now on the floor are off the bench, to include Terrence Hill. Pretty spin by Nick Lewis, and he'll get 2 free throws. The only starter on the floor right now for Coach Martelli will shoot 2.
Well, when Lewis sees that green light, that wide open lane, he went hard with a couple dribbles on his left hand, spun back, almost finished it, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Our player to watch tonight, Nick Lewis, the true freshman from DC, went to Gonzaga. Pretty good free throw shooter before that miss, 79% at the line. As I mentioned, one of 4 players this year averaging at least 10 points this season. Coming off a 14-point game against New Mexico last Wednesday, as Lewis uncharacteristically has missed both at the stripe. Rams came in number 1 in the A-10 in free throw attempts. They're averaging about 28 per night. Rams up by 3. Hawkins for the tie and swishes it home. Justin Hawkins, only his 3rd made 3 of the season to tie it at 15.
Well, field goal percentage defense has not been a major factor for VCU tonight.
Ball goes into the backcourt, and a backcourt violation. Another turnover for VCU, their 3rd of the first half. And for the first time, Ahmad Noel, who did not see action against New Mexico last Wednesday, is in tonight wearing number 4, replacing Nick Lewis. So VCU coach already playing 10 guys here in this half.
Well, Niagara shooting 55% from the field as we get started.
Coach Paulus told us before the game they want to win 4-minute increments tonight. Page on the drive, loses the handle. Noel has it. Up ahead to Hill, finding Belle in transition. Nice play by Williams to get back for Niagara, and reverse results in an out of bounds for the Rams.
Well, certainly hustle plays by both sides as guys are getting on the floor and trying to throw ahead.
Niagara's first turnover of the night, as VCU has to inbound and use a timeout. But Coach Martelli's not liking that either. It'll be a 30-second timeout for VCU, as Noel was unable to inbound.
Well, and that's just really his group, his teammates, kind of leaving him hung up to dry out there. Poor execution on the inbounds play to get initial people open, and then, he also should have multiple options on that play.
Coach, we had a great opportunity to talk to Niagara's head coach, Greg Paulus, before the game. Very open. He understood the situation coming into tonight. He's coming in shorthanded as he's missing 3 key pieces, but for the most part, they have played even with VCU.
Well, and I think that, although even the Purple Eagles have had a little bit of trouble finishing at the rim, and it could be, even a more different spot that could be up here. Greg
Paulus, former standout with Duke, under head coach Mike Krzyzewski. He was a part of that 2007 Blue Devils team that lost to VCU, and Eric Maynard, the shot heard around the country in that NCAA tournament game in Buffalo that season.
Well, he was a terrific Duke point guard in a long line of very good Duke point guards, and many of them in coaching.
Yes. Terrence Hill, being Terrence Hill from behind the arc, as he knocks down his 28th made three of the season, leading the team.
Remember what I said about taking good three-point shots? Forget about it with him. Anytime he's open or close to open, he should shoot a three.
Griffin hit the heel of the rim to try to tie it up. Jordan Tillery is in for the first time, wearing number 14, grabbed that rebound. Hill in the lane has scored the last 5 for VCU.
Martelli really imploring this group to turn up the pressure, kind of some run and jump, trying to get them to react, quick shoot it, which they have done. Belle did a great job trying to go after that one and deflected it out of bounds.
That brings us to another media timeout. 11:52 in the first half, and VCU up 5. There is Phil Martelli Jr., the head coach for VCU, coming off the loss against New Mexico on Wednesday night. 6-4 this season, and we now have to worry about those net rankings, KenPom rankings, things of that nature. They're currently 62nd in the net, but it's the second highest ranking among the 8 A-10 schools in the top 100.
And I think they don't need to be as concerned with net and KenPom even right now. They need to play well each game and continue to improve. You know, Coach Martelli's talked about, communication, and for these guys to get a better feel both offensively and defensively and continue to learn the language that these guys are using.
Chibangu could not keep it in play. Results in another turnover for VCU, or another turnover for Niagara, rather.
For instance, just even on ball screen coverage, these guys are all new, and, it may have been, the call last year may have been black. For another guy coming from a different program, might have been blitz. So even just those little things can be factors.
Coach Martelli mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, still trying to learn he mentioned the different languages with defense specifically. Shot clock under 10. Hill, the no-look pass to Belle. And VCU is now 7 for 9 from behind the arc in the first half and lead by 8 rather.
I'm a huge Mike Belle fan. I think he really understands who he is as a player, and he's not really going to hunt the three, but he was wide open with plenty of time to shoot it, and he stepped up and buried that one for the Rams.
His 5th made three of the season. He's 5 of 11 from distance. Shot clock under 5 for Page on the fadeaway. Long rebound to Noel. VCU on an 8-0 run, but a 4th turnover committed by the Rams.
And there's just that comfort level of playing together sometimes. Should have been an easy connection between those two players. Instead, it's a turnover. They'll turn around and turn up the pressure again and try and get another stop.
These will be the type of games you got to clean that up, right, Coach?
Absolutely. I mean, you always want your turnover number down, maybe 12, 10, somewhere in that range. But the unforced ones are the ones that really keep you up at night.
Yeah, VCU averages about 12 to 13 per night. They force about nearly 15 turnovers per game this year.
Well, and especially for a team that has as many possessions as they have and the pace that they play at.
Will Short comes back in for Niagara and draws a foul on Noel, who just picked up his 2nd. And right off the bench is Brandon Jennings to re-enter the lineup for VCU.
If they are switching in ball screen coverages and Noel winds up with that matchup, he's got to get around in front and do it without fouling rather than reaching on that initial pass.
Tillery comes up with the block. Shot clock didn't reset. Through home as there's a foul inside. as it appeared to be VCU's Jordan Tillery going right up with his knee, going up against the back of the head of Short. Watch it again. It's in the middle portion of your screen. Actually, Short falls down into Tillery's knee. And Short has to come out as he was hit in the back of the head by Tillery's knee.
You see on the play, I'm not sure if Mitchell, with that left hand, threw him down a little bit, or did he just lose his balance and go down? And obviously, the contact with the knee was from the other player in the lane.
That's the worst thing for Coach Paulus, is to see another guy go down from your lineup. You're already missing 3 players, to include a couple of guys who probably would have started tonight, and Trenton Walters and Josiah Sabino.
Well, and certainly for Short as one of the big guys.
Belle has the assignment on Williams. Under 10 to shoot, now 5 to shoot. Williams, the lefty. Belle, the rebound. Rams on an 8-0 run over the last 3 minutes. Tillery left open. Djokovic, an offensive rebound. Hill left free for 3. Jennings tip no good. Out of bounds to Niagara. A rare miss from 3 for Terrence Hill.
I'd almost like to see Tillery move that ball one more time and see if it goes inside and come back out. They want to keep that 3-point percentage up in that range where they're at right now.
Still pretty good, 64%, 7 for 11. Drew Lawson, the junior from Fort Collins, Colorado, wearing number 22, in for the first time. Niagara has missed their last 6 shots from the field, trailing by 8, under 10 to shoot. And deflected out by Evans. It'll stay with Niagara with 4 to shoot.
VCU must make sure that they contest the ball in here, have a great challenge on the shot, and also not foul.
Niagara has not scored in over 4.5 minutes, and it continues by an Evans steal. Here's Tillery with the strong move, and it rolled off.
Second missed around the basket that the Rams have had tonight.
Tillery shows off that second gear to get to the bucket. 8.5 to go, and VCU with an 8-point lead. Largest lead of the first half for the Rams. Shot clock is under 5. Jennings, the block. And a shot clock violation. Griffith could not get it off. And another great defensive stand led by Brandon Jennings.
Yeah, that was a great aggressive play. Stayed in front. Didn't come up on that initial shot fake. And then he chased the ball. And then, of course, the shot clock did not reset, so they get a shot clock violation.
He just seems to get better and better on the defensive end on every game. And that's hard to say because he was really good last year. He was a preseason all-defensive player for the A-10, and he just keeps getting better and better each game.
Well, I think Coach Martelli and the staff will continue to push that and find out who their stoppers are on the defensive end.
Heady play by Evans to keep possession. Djokovic had it and then tied up by Drew Larson. And that brings us to the under 8 media timeout. Check it, it's going to be a foul on Larson and not a held ball. So VCU will maintain possession when we come back, leading by 8. There is a great shot of Niagara's head coach and the former Duke standout, Greg Paulus, in his 7th season with Niagara. We mentioned his great accolades at Duke and what he did with Coach Krzyzewski, third team All-ACC, played on 3 conference championship teams, 4 NCAA tournament teams, and a pretty good football player. And he told us the story of how he was able to make the switch from basketball to being the Syracuse starting quarterback using that last year of eligibility.
It really is an unbelievable story, and he's really one of the ultimate competitors in college basketball. Certainly spent that 1 year in college football and holds some Syracuse football records.
Yeah. And we'll get to that throughout the course of the night as Brandon Jennings can't convert on the 3. And Niagara clears, trailing by 8 as we are coming up on 7.5 to go here from the Siegel Center. Great to have you with us on Masson and on ESPN+. Shot clock is at 10 for Niagara. Here's Griffith, partially blocked by Jennings and last touched by VCU with 3 to shoot as Griffith is shaken up on the baseline.
Boy, they sure don't need that.
If you're just joining us, Niagara came in missing 3 key players, and then Will Short, who got the start tonight, got hit in the back of the head on a Jordan Tillery knee. He had to leave the game and currently is not on the bench. As we look at that last play by Brian Griffith, who landed hard on his left elbow. The quick inbound to Page, and he's fouled. Tracy picks it up for VCU.
Well, that's just a lack of attention on Tracy's part. Really not in a stance, and that was just a straight cut from this elbow right to the right side of the rim. An easy dump off, and Page to go to the line and go ahead and shoot 2 here.
The junior from Peoria, Illinois, a transfer from Cal Poly. Shot 75% from the line before that miss. Team's leading scorer at 11 points per game. And we'll have to lift some heavy weight here tonight.
Niagara may come with some 3/4 court or full court pressure here. I take that back. I think it's just their 2-3 zone.
A 7-point VCU lead as we're inside 7 minutes. Lewis, a deep 3. That's true for Nick Lewis. And up ahead is Williams getting behind the Rams defense.
Certainly never want to give up one like that.
26-18 VCU. Lewis inside out to Jennings. You mentioned that earlier, trying to get an inside touch to set up a better shot, and it worked to perfection there.
A lot of teams will chart paint touches, and all Lewis did against the zone was penetrate it, get in by that 8-10 sign, and kicked it out to his teammate, the lefty, for an easy 3-point make.
And Brandon Jennings was whistled for the foul. Before tonight, Jennings was just 3 of 11 from 3 this year. He's already made 2 in the first half.
And I think, again, you have to understand who you are. And I know he certainly has a history of it, and also depends what he does in practice each week, because I have to believe that the staff is charting everything that happens in live situations in practice.
Page with the step on Djokovic and gets his first field goal of the night.
Djokovic guarding a perimeter player there. He may have to give him a little bit more space to keep him in front.
The rebound by Justin Hawkins off the Brandon Jennings miss as Niagara is within 9. Another deflection by VCU. Shot clock is at 10. Hawkins and Djokovic yanked the board down for the Rams. Extra pass to Lewis from the corner. Jennings, a new 20 for VCU, and is fouled. That is what he brings to VCU on a night-to-night basis.
Jennings has been active all over the floor, certainly on the defensive end, but on the offensive end as well, just chasing the ball down. And then really, rebounding-wise, it doesn't just have to be from the big guys, from the 4 and 5, let's say. Anybody can be that. Now, certainly on the offensive end, often it's a responsibility of maybe the point guard and a 2 guard to get back in transition. But when you have a chance and you can chase it down, which is really what Jennings did, although he misses that first one.
Rams 0 for 3 from the line here in the half. Came in at 71%. That was 8th best in the A-10 and 193rd in the country in free throw percentage.
Well, it's been a great weapon for them, and I expect it to be a great weapon throughout the season as aggressively as they play on the offensive end.
But on the flip side, they're in the top 21 and free throws made and attempted in the country. But the percentage, they would all say, should be better. 10-point Rams lead as we're inside 5 minutes for Hawkins, trying to back it down against Belle. Lewis from the weak side clears. Jennings draws the whistle. It'll go against Prudhomme.
The game has changed so much. It used to always be big guy will rebound it, get it to a 1 or a 2, a point guard or a 2 guard, let them bring it up the floor. These days, they talk about the phrase, like position-less basketball. I mean, with this group, Djokovic will bring it up the floor. 6'10", 6'11", and he usually makes really good decisions. And that's partly why this VCU group plays with so many possessions and plays at the pace that they do.
He told us during media day here in Richmond that he could play all 5 if given the opportunity, and he is comfortable playing all 5 positions. Djokovic on the move, draws another whistle on Niagara. It'll go against Hawkins. Last foul to give for Niagara before the bonus. The inbound to Belle. Has the advantage on Williams in the paint. Djokovic from the high post. Showing his range, that 3-level range from the Serbian Savage. The lead at 12 for VCU, and Williams makes it a 9-point lead as he sticks that 3, now with 8. And Coach Paulus will use a timeout, and with that, we'll take one as well. With 3:48 to go, VCU's lead is at 9. 3:48 left in the first half. VCU with a 32-23 lead over Niagara. Sean and Sean and our entire Rams Unlimited crew here at the Stew, wishing you and yours a happy holiday season. A key stat for VCU caught your eye during the break, Coach.
Yeah, overall field goal percentage defense and what they've done also guarding the three-point line this entire season has been huge for them. Certainly we've talked about their very strong schedule, by far the strongest schedule in the Atlantic 10. I think most recently on the net, their strength of schedule is at 42. Overall, they've been at 42 field goal percentage defense, and the three-point line overall 34 in their 4 losses against very good teams. 49 they've given up from the field and 45 from the three-point line.
That's a huge discrepancy there. As Tillery comes in and had his shot blocked in the lane. Yeah, those losses to Vanderbilt, NC State, Utah State, and then last Wednesday to New Mexico, where Mr. Hall for the Lobos hit 24 here at the Siegel Center as Williams gets the friendly roll for his 10th point, becomes the first player for either team to go into double figures.
And Williams getting the chance to play because his teammates are out of the lineup tonight.
And a new career high for Landon Williams, the sophomore from Farmington Hills, Michigan. Terrence Hill can't hit the three. The rebound to Hawkins. It's a 7-point VCU lead. Nice pass inside to Shabangu. 4 for Shabangu, and it's a 5-point lead at the 2.5-minute mark.
Team defense starts with the ability to guard the ball, and VCU is not doing that at a high clip right now.
Terrence Hill will go to the line on Prudhomme, second foul for Niagara and the team's 7th. Niagara on a 7-0 run over the last 90 seconds to get back in this game to only trail 5.
It's human nature. You know, the players over there, they've gone through the scouting report. They see that Niagara has a record of 2-8. They've lost, I think it's 7 in a row.
7 in a row.
They understand who they're playing against, but still the bottom line is when they step on this floor, they have to be ready to compete because these guys are good players too.
Another miss from the line for VCU. They're 1 for 5 from the stripe. And I keep saying Wagner, Niagara in this first half down 5. Hawkins the miss and Shabangu the follow. A 9-0 Niagara run to get to within 3. Here's Tillery inside, and he'll get 2 free throws. Williams is called for his second. If you're Greg Paulus right now, you have got to be feeling really, really good where your team is.
Absolutely, because his group has competed on every possession. They've picked their spots. They've run. They've also run good half-court stuff. You know, I've watched quite a bit of their games, and their execution on the offensive end is actually very, very high. I think they run really good stuff. Sometimes they lack in personnel with the ability to finish plays, but they certainly seem to be finishing better plays tonight and also shooting the ball well from the perimeter.
And really not having that cohesion. You know, he told us maybe a handful of opportunities for his whole team to play together, as Niagara will regain possession as Tillery missed both free throws. The Rams 1 for 7 from the line here in the half. And Niagara with the made 3 can tie it.
Well, Niagara looking up on that scoreboard just gains more and more confidence as the minutes continue to tick away.
Inside of 90 seconds. Little 2-man game, now 3-man game to Shabangu.
That's poor rotation. I thought Tracy's got to be able to rotate on the inside of that next player and be there on the catch.
11-0 Purple Eagles run to be within 1. And a turnover. Page up ahead, blocked by Belle. Hill in transition for 3, ring it up. That could have been a gut punch by the Rams as Hill has 5. Hawkins on the switch, guarded by Belle. Shot clock under 10. Williams for 3. Got it. 13 first half points for Landon Williams. His career high coming into tonight was only 7. Hill with the scoop and score before the buzzer. Terrence Hill with now 10 in the first half. But Landon Williams with 13 first half points to lead all scorers has Niagara within 3 at the break. TJ will have halftime activities when we come back. Back at the Siegel Center to begin the second half with VCU ahead 37-34. Sean Robertson, the coach, Sean Kearney, our entire Rams Unlimited staff to include TJ, giving you the halftime activities here. Great job as always. All right, your coach, Phil Martelli Jr., what are you saying to your guys to get off to a fast start here to begin the half?
Well, as we talked about during the break, I don't think there was a whole lot of strategy discussed in that locker room. I think certainly part of it was effort, and I think I'm really focused on that field goal percentage defense, which it was a little bit of a roller coaster. Started off poorly, got really good in the middle, and then by the end of the half, though, it's back at 45%. And if you recall, in the last game against New Mexico, that second half started with a 14-4 spurt by New Mexico, which really hurt them. So I'll be anxious to see the defensive effort and what they're doing in terms of field goal percentage defense.
Good to see Will Short back in for Niagara, and on his first touch to begin the half, he scores to pull the Purple Eagles to within 1. Michael Belle starts the second half for VCU. From the corner, hits the 3.
See if the Rams can turn up the full court pressure and wear this group down, even cause some turnovers and maybe get some easy baskets.
VCU now, coach, 11 for 19 from 3 in the game. Quick reach-in foul on Nick Lewis.
Lewis and Djokovic switched on that back screen there. Lewis was a little bit out of position, wound up reaching and caused that personal.
Coach Paulus tried to find that mismatch with Will Short at 6'8", going against the 6'1" freshman. Lee Cassell trying to get somebody to wipe maybe either some water or sweat in front of the Niagara bench, and it gives both teams a free timeout right now.
You know, Sean, this is a thing that I would talk about. I don't think it happened because of the timeout. But years ago, somebody started by bringing those stools onto the floor. Michigan State comes to mind.
Yep.
But certainly I'd say about 95% of programs in the country do this right now. And if I was czar of college basketball, if you have space behind your bench, and because staffs have grown over the years to the point where there's usually a second row now,
yeah,
I would not allow it. I wouldn't allow stools on the floor. I think the bench is there. Certainly, you know, when you look at our beautiful facility here at the Siegel Center, plenty of space there. Do it right there. And I think, you know, part of what they're doing with speeding up the game at the end of the game with the challenges, I think this whole delay package, which is part of the rules, could be sped up slightly, ever so slightly, by teams not waiting for teams to get stools back, wipe up the floor in front of your bench, and all of those things.
That's an interesting observation there. Never really thought about that. But, I mean, every team now in college basketball does that. And like you said, the staff has grown to the point where you're having about 4 or 5 members of the program bringing out those stools, and the coaches go to a corner to have a conversation before they get to the huddle and then talk to their teams.
Well, and the other thing, and this is something I never would have thought of as a coach, but in my former role as associate commissioner of the Atlantic 10, watching games, and especially when a play is near the end line, and these managers who are awesome, and the world is run by former managers.
Yes.
If you weren't sure, the world is run by managers. Managers know what the time is on the clock. They know when that next media is coming. They sprint out there so fast, I'm afraid they're going to take a guy out, maybe cause an injury, or maybe even cause a brawl,
yeah,
which would not be intentional, but it might just happen.
They have pretty good 40 times right here as they're still attending to I don't know if it's blood pellets, but now it's on the VCU end as well. So maybe somebody had a scratch and not realizing it until later, but they took care of it on the VCU end, right around the paint area below the A10 logo and in front of Niagara's bench as well. And now the Purple Eagles assistant coach checking the floor, talking with Lee Cassell. He's not done yet, fellas. Yeah, I believe there is some blood. Tell you what, he's done a really good job at making sure every spot on the floor has been cleared. Give him an NIL deal before the end of the night.
Oh, he's going to have a sponsor by the end of the night. The Peppers have a sponsor.
Yes, we do. We'll talk about that later on. He thinks he's done. He's not done yet. Let's see him attack it. Niagara's assistants are cheering him on to clean this up. Look, you see, there it is. A job well done by that manager. Now we can restart play. That was a full timeout and a half for both teams. Djokovic has the matchup on Short. Short now gets the step, finds Williams, and last touch by BJ with 3 to shoot. Now Lee Castle cleaning it up. Again, another great crew here at the Siegel Center. This is the only A10 game involving an A10 team tonight, as Williams off the inbound knocks down the jumper. He is feeling it for Niagara tonight with 15.
He's got his Steph Curry imitation going on.
His career high before tonight was only 7 points set against Siena. Nice pass inside to Djokovic. Now finds help with Lewis. Goes up against Short and can't finish. Niagara a chance to tie or take the lead. Leaves Hawkins underneath open, and the Purple Eagles have tied it at 40.
Just poor communication and transition defense allowed that easy bucket.
2 minutes gone by in the second half. Djokovic working against Short. It counts and the foul. The Serbian Savage with only his second made field goal of the game.
I think it's important for VCU to attack inside. Anytime that Djokovic can get position, they got to throw it in there and at least make him or allow him to make plays in there. Last time they came and doubled. On that time, he seemed to be one-on-one, turned over that left shoulder, which he's most comfortable with, made the basket, and have a chance to go to the three-point play.
Third leading scorer on the team this season. And now we've got a stoppage, as it appears that they gave Djokovic a warning as his jersey was untucked. Ron Groover went right to him after the made free throw to make sure he did tuck it in.
I can tell you from dealing with officials over the years, they do not enjoy dealing with uniform issues at all, but they know it's their responsibility.
Yep. And I know the players don't like it either. VCU ahead by 3 after Niagara tied it at 40. Here's Page. Blocked inside by Djokovic, deflected by Lewis, and here comes VCU. Here's Belle in the lane. Goes right to the basket after nobody covered him.
Belle completely under control, caught it in the corner, hard drive with the left hand, two-footed stop, pivoted and realized he was wide open at the rim.
He's got 8. Williams on the other end. Misfires on the 3, and Djokovic with his 5th rebound of the night. Cross-court pass to Belle, and he's fouled by Hawkins. Got him across the arm.
The perimeter's done a great job of getting the ball into the paint, finding guys in the corner. That time it was Belle on the left corner, came with the drive and got hit on the arm as he went into a little bit of a mid-range game, which is really Belle's overall offensive game. I know he's made it a 3 or 2, but he's much more of a mid-range guy.
And again, Ron Groover and Roger Ayers talking to both teams about the uniform issue. Both players, both teams want to be comfortable having that jersey untucked, and it is a rule that that jersey must be tucked in the shorts. I bet you as a coach, you probably would be like, you know the rule, keep the shirt tucked in, don't have the official on every stoppage say, keep your jersey tucked in as Belle gets the home bounce.
Yeah, it's really a distraction that you do not want to deal with.
Belle, another solid all-around game. 9 points tonight. He had 9 in the loss against New Mexico Wednesday night.
I love what he brings to this team.
And it's amazing that he hadn't really started playing basketball until age 13. He was more of a soccer, rugby, tennis player in London. But he is fit into this rotation for Coach Martelli. A mini 6-0 run for VCU over the last 90 seconds to go up 6.
I'm not sure that VCU has really ever made Niagara feel uncomfortable on the defensive end as they get another drive by Page, finishes with the left hand, easy layup.
Points in the paint. That's the 22nd point in the paint for Niagara tonight. Lewis in the corner, halfway down. Last touched by Niagara.
The Rams continue to play unselfishly on the offensive end. And their issues really aren't on the offensive end. They're shooting at 50%. And, you know, very good numbers from the three-point line. Their problems have been on the defensive end and their attention to detail.
Shabangu with the deflection. And now Lee Castle goes to the scorer's table to reset, I believe, the shot clock.
I think probably a second has to come off of that since there was a deflection.
And you're right, Coach.
Not my first rodeo.
The inbound to Evans. Tillery left open. And out of bounds to Niagara as that comes up to a immediate timeout. 15:57 to go in the game. A close one here at the Siegel Center with VCU up 4. There is a good look at the Serbian savage, Lazar Djokovic. 5 points, 5 rebounds tonight as VCU leads 46-42 over an undermanned Niagara team that has been playing hard and tough against VCU.
And they've played in some tough environments. They played at Duquesne. They had a game at Duke. They also played a second time at Cameron because they played Howard down there.
Yeah.
They've been in some environments.
Coach Paulus told us before the game how great of an atmosphere it was and a once-in-a-lifetime experience for these guys to play at Cameron Indoor against his former team.
Well, and as much as that was really neat for me to hear, just an additional dagger in my heart, as we tried hard when I was an assistant at Notre Dame to recruit Greg, and it came down to Duke and Notre Dame. And all I can tell you is in my years at Notre Dame, we were 0-for against Duke.
Oh. And Paulus was a reason why. And Nick Lewis trying to put the offense on his back as he hits VCU's 12th made three tonight. Page on the drive, blocked by Lazar. And Hill is fouled. Prudhomme is whistled for his third. Check out Lazar here.
Well, Lewis is beat off the dribble, but Lazar is able to come over and get that ball deflected, keep it in bounds, and start the break.
But as a guard, I mean, you got to have that belief and also that confidence that you can play hard like that, but knowing you got a rim protector behind him in Djokovic.
That rim protection is huge.
Hill tried to draw the foul, and Short clears the miss.
They got to string together stops. 3 or 4 stops. Coaches usually want to call that a kill. 3 or 4 stops in a row.
Brian Griffith back in for Niagara as he took a nasty fall in that first half. Good to see him back in the lineup as Djokovic, with that slight bump on Hawkins, is called for the foul.
I think it was a little bit more than slight. It was kind of a forearm shiver. I think the WWE when John Cena finished the other night.
That. How about that, Coach? He went to Cena with a little tap. Told Gunther, I tap. I didn't know you were a wrestling fan, Coach.
I'm not. I just know that Cena wound it down the other night.
Just up the road in D.C. Williams with the miss. Jennings clears. Waits for help. Has Mitchell, who just checked in. Page the long rebound. Williams with the step on Mitchell and the easy finish. Williams is having a career night for Niagara. 17 points. Where would the Purple Eagles be without his efforts tonight as Page is called for the foul?
I think sometimes, when we talk to coaches before games, we sometimes talk about surprises, like who's a surprise for you? And I would imagine that Williams has been a very pleasant surprise for him tonight. Mitchell, I thought, had 2 mistakes on that play. As a coach, I never wanted to see your first touch off the bench to be an open 3. I think you got to move the ball a little bit, catch it and get it back. And then on the defensive end, they just didn't guard the ball, and he had a blow-by, which allowed that layup by Williams.
Lewis from straight away. Tipped by Mitchell, right to Hill. Mitchell made up for that missed 3 with that play. Hill, the first Ram in double figures with 10. And Niagara will use a timeout here. 13:21 left in regulation here at the Stew. And VCU holds a 7-point lead on Niagara. There's a great look at our Carter Catwalk fan cam. Here inside of the Siegel Center, we got 13:21 left in regulation, and the Purple Eagles of Niagara, who came in with a 7-game losing streak, hanging tough with VCU, who are coming off their first home loss of the season last week to New Mexico, trying to get back on track and be better prepared for that gauntlet of the A-10 schedule.
Well, they've got 13:21 here in the second half to try and finish that off, and they're going to have to do it on the defensive end.
Williams remains in the game for Coach Paulus. Page finds Short inside, blocked by Evans. Great recovery by the Bryant transfer. Hill leaves it for Evans. He's got the mismatch on Griffith. Rolls off, gets his own miss. Bullies his way inside and scores. And Coach Groover grants Niagara the timeout as Coach Martelli Jr. was hoping to get a 5-second call, but instead, Paulus hits the 30-second timeout as VCU's back up by 9.
That last defensive play for VCU, I think there was a little bit of a miscommunication on the middle ball screen right out top. And that's always, where most teams want to get ball screens, but then you had great help by Evans, who's just kind of a jack of all trades. He makes plays on both ends. And boy, when you're a teammate who's beat on the defensive end, you're sure glad he's on your team. And then offensively, he's just a bull in there. With that left hand, he's relentless, he's a quick jumper, and he continues to pursue the ball and gives him that chance, that finish. They then turn around into some full court pressure, cause a timeout, and here they are back. See if they can't get another turnover or another stop.
The second team preseason A-10 selection who is known by the Junkyard Dog on the team. Another WWE reference there, Coach. Old school reference there.
What are you trying to say?
No. Should have said the WWF, old school reference.
You don't say that to the legend Ed Dixon.
I do. I call him the governor.
And by the way, he's fabulous.
Yeah.
The chemistry that you two have, so fun to watch VCU games.
Well, appreciate that, Coach. Noel misses on the 3. And Short and Niagara back on offense, trailing by 9. They've been outscored by 6 in this half.
VCU can't let offensive misses, missed jump shots bother them.
Page to the rim again. 7 on the night for the team's leading scorer. Mitchell can't finish on the 3. Short and Lewis tied up. The arrow stays with VCU. And that brings us to the under 12 timeout. VCU leading by 7 here at the Siegel Center. Let's take a look at our players to watch who we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast and see how they fared against one another here tonight, Coach.
Well, Page has gone for 7 points and 4 rebounds. On the other side, Nick Lewis has gone for 9 points, 6 rebounds, 3 of 7 from 3. The guy that should be the player to watch is Williams. 17 points, 7 of 11 from the field, 3 of 6 from the three-point line.
5 times this year, Williams was held scoreless. And he is telling Coach Paulus, hey, you got to give me some more time, as a steal off the inbound by Niagara. With guys being out due to illness or injury, other guys have got to step up, and Williams has done just that tonight with a career-high 17 for Niagara. They left Prudhomme open. Short an offensive rebound.
Short is a very capable rebounder. He's got some bounce to him. The shot goes up. They need to put a body on him.
Here's Page. Tough angle. And it goes off of Belle. Out of bounds. It'll stay with Niagara. Tell you what, you can see the confidence grow on every possession for Coach Paulus and his team.
Well, I think I mentioned earlier, he's one of the ultimate competitors. I would imagine every day in practice, when he has enough guys to practice, that the heat is certainly turned up.
Under 11 minutes to go here in regulation. Prudhomme for 3. Well off. Clock didn't reset. Page with the shot clock winding down, another air ball. Only Niagara's 6th turnover of the night. They've handled the pressure against VCU here tonight to be within 7. Noel back in along with Belle for 3. Belle with a dozen. His career high 14 set against Iowa State back in the 23 season. And the lead back to 10. It has been as large as 12 for VCU tonight.
Maybe they've widened the rims tonight.
They've made 13 threes against Niagara. Hawkins inside is fouled. Jennings is 3rd.
I think that overall, defensively, certainly on the ball, VCU has lacked discipline in their defensive coverage and certainly in their on-the-ball guarding. And I think that's something that when Coach Martelli and the staff review this game, they'll look at closely. And I think sometimes, too, when you try and find where minutes should go with players, who's going to be able to guard the ball well, who's going to be a guy that's going to come and help, who's going to communicate greatly on ball screens and switches. And I think that's all part of what Coach Martelli was talking about a couple weeks ago, trying to get a group to learn to play together and play with each other. And you think about it, you know, the amount of guys that usually you would have back during a season. And obviously Coach Martelli in his first season here at VCU. And only a few guys that were here last year, but they certainly weren't playing in Coach Martelli's system.
There's only 5 returning players from the team that won the A-10 tournament and made the NCAAs a season ago. Jennings is one of them, along with Hill and Belle. 3 of the 5 on the floor were on last year's team. Djokovic kept the pivot foot down, goes to his right, and will get 2 free throw attempts.
I like that they really are continuing to throw the ball inside to Djokovic.
Williams' 3rd foul. As Roger Ayers again communicating with Djokovic about the jersey.
It makes me wonder if there was an email from the coordinators or certainly from the national office to continue to work on jerseys.
Because the conversations have picked up at an alarming rate tonight specifically about that one issue.
And you do have to understand that, you know, they always talk about certain plays, and there's, you know, weekly emails that go out to supervisors that then get distributed to the officiating staffs. Usually it's about plays, could be about the new rules, coach's challenge, continuation, or different plays that they're seeing commonly, and part of that will also include video.
10-point VCU lead after Djokovic's 2 made free throws. He has 7 on the night along with 5 rebounds. Niagara needs a basket. They are 1 for their last 7 from the field. Under 10 to shoot for the Purple Eagles. Here's Griffith. Lewis battles for the rebound and is fouled. Shabangu is called for the foul.
That was a really good defensive possession. VCU switching all positions, so 1 through 5, which then puts a Djokovic on a guard. And I thought on that particular play did a good job of staying down, staying in front. And they caused a difficult shot over top. And then Lewis, the guy that he is, chased the ball down.
And we got an offensive foul called on VCU. Djokovic, his second. Oh, check it, it's Nick Lewis.
Yeah, the ball went to the wing, and they set a little UCLA screen, which is a screen by, in this situation, Lewis at the elbow. And Lewis wasn't really set, and Djokovic may have left it a little bit too soon, which caused that offensive foul.
It's Lewis's second foul as we're inside 9 minutes in the game. Niagara down 10 as they've missed 8 of their last 9 from the field. Prudhomme got Lewis in the air. Djokovic got a block and a turnover as it was last touched by Niagara.
You know, Lewis does a terrific job staying in front. Djokovic able to deflect it. Lewis chases it, throws it off the Niagara player, Prudhomme.
3 blocks for the Serbian Savage tonight, along with 7 points and 5 rebounds. Lewis tried to find help, got Belle. Ball on the floor, Lewis and Prudhomme tied up. Arrow favors Niagara.
Tried to run the same play there. It was overplayed and contested. And I thought Belle actually came to the high post, and when he first caught in the high post, he probably had a look at Djokovic down low, which is a great way to go high-low. He didn't see it, and it wound up back over here. Caused that jump ball and results in a turnover for VCU.
Can't remember if I asked you this. Do you like the alternating arrow still in college basketball?
I do. I think it's a good way to go. I'm not even sure when they put it in, but I think that's been a good decision to do that.
Seems like it's been split 50-50. Some like it, some don't. Here's Williams and another block by Djokovic, which brings us to a timeout. His 4th block of the night as VCU maintains a 10-point lead over Niagara. Time to check out the Southern Virginia forward drive of the game. And it's Michael Belle. Catch and shoot 3.
Well, I said earlier what a fan I am of Mike Belle. I think he does a variety of things to help his team win or be in a position to win. And I think he's going to continue to earn minutes as he's done through his career here at VCU.
Well, we can also do that as a Virginia Credit Union assist, benefiting the Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU. Page got Tillery off balance with 1 to shoot. And the rebound chased down by Belle. VCU +2 on the glass tonight against Niagara and have a 10-point lead on the Purple Eagles as we're inside 7.5 minutes. Hill with the little scoop. And last touched by Niagara, staying with VCU.
I think the last time we had an end line out of bounds play, we turned it over. See if they can execute better here and wind up with a good shot. 20 seconds on the reset.
Evans, for about a half a second, was thinking about the 3. Here is Belle going left. Paulus wanted to travel, didn't get it. Tillery with a beautiful spin move.
I think Coach Paulus may have been right. I think he shuffled his feet there on the drive.
Tillery's first basket of the night makes it a 12-point lead, matching VCU's largest of the night. Here's Hawkins with the left hand. Chased down the rebound by Belle, by Evans rather. Here is Djokovic trying to go strong to the goal, and Will Short is called for his third.
Hawkins on that last play missed it with the left hand. He's better on the right, but you see Djokovic, who came in here hard trying to dunk the ball. Short made a good play on it, but was called for the foul. You may have to add extensions to these jerseys.
I was going to say, Ron Gruber has that expression on his face to say, I've had enough about this uniform situation for both teams. As Djokovic back at the line, he is the team leader in free throws made and attempted this season. Tonight, a perfect 4-4 from the stripe. And no announcer's jinx. 5 of 5 for the Serbian Savage. And a new lead as VCU forces a turnover as Belle with the deflection off a Page results in a Ram possession.
Sean, you talk about the Serbian Savage. Certainly great players coming out of Europe these days. And from Serbia, Nikola Jokic, the Joker.
The Joker.
From the Nuggets.
Here is Belle on the drive. Looks for Tillery inside, plus the foul. Jordan Tillery getting this crowd involved.
Sean, the last game I did with you was the Samford game, and Tillery was a revelation in that game. 10 points, 2 of 2 from 3 in 17 minutes. And he had not had many opportunities prior to that. And I think one thing that he's got to do, and he can't just hang his hat on the offensive end, because he's certainly athletic and explosive enough to be a factor on the defensive end, but my goodness, he can provide some good things offensively.
That was a big-time move there by the freshman, and also completes the three-point play. Evans comes up with the deflection. It'll stay with Niagara. This is the largest lead for VCU tonight, now is 17.
And now only 9 seconds for Niagara to bring this across the timeline.
Another deflection by Tillery. Saves it in play. Page recovered it. And now a whistle by Lee Castle.
They're going to reset the shot clock because he had gained enough control to throw that ball back inside, even though he didn't have two hands on the ball. They consider that control. They'll quickly go to it, change it, put 28 up there, and they get a full possession.
VCU on a 9-0 run over the last 3.5 minutes. Page draws the foul on Djokovic. His second.
From the officiating standpoint, there's something called a straight line drive. Page has it from that right wing, even down near the end line. And Djokovic gets in the way there, really gets a bump, so it's a clear foul, and it's something that's a point of emphasis for the officials this season.
Williams off the inbound. In and out on his jumper. Djokovic with his 6th rebound, brings it up. He'll thought about shooting that 3, but he'll go to the basket. Good decision by the sophomore, now with 14. VCU has outscored Niagara 30-14 in the second half as he'll try to cause a tie-up before the timeout. It's a full timeout for Coach Paulus and Niagara. As VCU up 19 with 5:24 left in regulation. And now, Coach, this game is getting a little bit out of hand for Niagara as that depth has become a concern and an issue for Coach Paulus.
Well, the depth is a situation where the VCU Rams are do have the ability to wear people down. You know, one thing, they've done such a good job in transition. And Hill just has the ability to kind of patiently, a little bit of a hesitation dribble, goes to his left and then finishes with that right hand. And they've built this lead, and at the same time, that field goal percentage defense has been dropped down to 37. And if you remember keys of the game, I had it at 40 or below, and I really felt like they should be able to do that for a 40-minute period. I think when Martelli and the rest of the staff looks at this, there certainly will be times where they're not pleased. But the spot where they're at right now, I think they're in a good place and want to continue to do that for the next 5:24.
VCU has limited Niagara to just 6 of 23 shooting in the second half, 26.1%, and 0 for 5 from 3. Niagara has missed their last 10 shots from the field and are 1 for their last 13. Page trying to create against the Djokovic, and he was able to deliver.
I'm impressed with Page. He's got a good body, explosive off the dribble. He's going to have a good conference season in the MAC with 2 A's.
Yes. Not the Mid-American Conference with just 1 A. Here's Djokovic, and he's fouled. Larson is called for the foul.
We talked about that. I mean, big guys aren't typical big guys anymore. Maybe you used to have them screening block to block, post up. But a guy like Djokovic can put the ball on the floor a little bit. He can shoot it a little bit. He's a threat.
6'11" junior from out of Serbia, who can play all 5 positions, can be a rim protector, could be a great scorer, a rebounder, ball handler, and Larson turns it over. I believe, they're gonna, nope. They're looking at the shot clock. Ron Groover went to the scorer's table to make sure it will reset on the change of possession, which they did to 20.
When there's a change of possession in the front court, it's always reset to 20, almost always reset to 20.
And Djokovic is now trying to take over, let that offense run through him. Larson is called for his 3rd.
We've talked about international players over the last couple of games, and certainly, you know, in the NBA, but also well established through college. And we had a player on the other side tonight who did not play due to injury or maybe illness, with Vica Zonki, certainly hailing from Croatia. My history and geography isn't top-notch, but they are part of the former Yugoslavia, and there was some great basketball there, and along with a country like Lithuania.
I was going to say, on New Mexico's roster, Buljan, he came from Split, Croatia, and had a lot of international pro experience at that level, as did Zonki for Niagara. And Djokovic, he played on the FIBA Under-19 World Cup. And a whistle on VCU.
I was a part of Basketball Ireland 2 summers ago and played in a FIBA U20, Under-20 European Championship in Romania. We practiced in Ireland for almost a week and then played in Romania. And it was the smaller countries, so Division B. So it would not have included some of the countries we just talked about. But there is fabulous basketball over in Europe. And I've actually, over the last couple of years, become more interested in the Euro League. which has some great teams.
And you can see in the NBA, every roster littered with international talent. And the MVP award has been dominated in recent years by international or foreign players like the Joker, Giannis, guys like that.
Well, and then even, although they're only just to our north, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the MVP,
OKC,
being the Canadian player.
Yep. And was finals MVP against Indiana. And has the best record in all of the NBA this year. Only 2 losses this season. San Antonio knocked them off last week. Victor Wembanyama, 22 points off the bench in 21 minutes.
The French product.
Yes. Rookie of the Year 2 seasons ago. Missed 3 by Hill in the corner. And Williams recovers as we're near the 4-minute mark. And VCU with a 19-point lead. Belle yanked down his 3rd rebound. Lewis for 3. Kept alive by Hill. Djokovic for 3. Ring it up. 16 for the Serbian Savage and a 22-point lead for the Rams. Trying to go with the alley-oop and did so effectively. From Landon Williams. Hill misfires from straight away as we're coming up on 3 minutes to go in regulation. Here's Hawkins, partially blocked by Belle. Here's Djokovic. Leaves it for Hill, taken away by Williams. Williams deserves some more playing time in the next game, and he found Page, and he can't finish. Guys look exhausted right now, Coach. Here's Evans inside, and Coach Martelli will use that timeout, which will change to a full timeout. Our last media timeout of the game comes with 2:43 to go, and VCU up 22. The Fish and Pig is proud to sponsor the VCU Peppers this season. From savory barbecue to delicious seafood, they're bringing the flavor while the Peppers bring the energy, because nobody parties like the pig. I hope one game this season we get something from the Fish and Pig. I would really like to enjoy that barbecue. As Page turns it over off the inbound. Only the 9th turnover for Niagara tonight.
You know, I said earlier, for the most part, I did not think that Niagara felt uncomfortable at all, but I do think in the last 5 to 8 minutes they have been uncomfortable, partly been the defense wearing them down. And as you see here, they go to a 2-3 zone. Wings playing very high out top.
And Lewis sticks a 3, his 4th tonight, and becomes the 5th Ram in double figures. Williams having a difficult time getting that over against Michael Belle. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in regulation. Shot clock under 10. Prudhomme in and out, short, can't finish, gets his own miss. No, Larson's tip is no good, and off of Jennings. Multiple chances in tight and could not get any of them in.
Short is the Sydney, Australia product. And I don't know if I saw this on tape as I watched them as we prepared for this game. He's got a lot of bounce. He's got a lot of determination in him as well.
Here's Page going against Evans as he got Djokovic in the air. And we'll get 2 free throws with 1:40 left in regulation.
We've talked about the current state of college athletics and certainly as it affects college basketball. I was doing a little bit of research on this current team and comparing them to last year's team. There is on KenPom, which is the analytics site run by Ken Pomeroy. Just a fabulous guy, really, really smart guy. Last year's team under Coach Odom, certainly in his second season, had 52% of the minutes returning in last year's group. This year's group, 17%. 17%. And certainly almost every program is dealing with this. So it's not new, but it is what's happening in college basketball today.
And it will be that way probably moving forward. And Michael Belle has now a new career high, 15 points, a perfect 4 for 4 from 3 as VCU is up 26. Followed good by Drew Larson, who had not scored in his last 3 games. His first back. Djokovic going up against Larson and is fouled.
Larson just completely outmanned there.
So VCU will get back on the winning track, improve to 7-4 on the year, 5-1 here at the Siegel Center. With 3 more games left in this homestand to wrap up the calendar year. They're home Thursday night to American. Then next Monday, the week of Christmas, they're home to Rider, another MAC school. And then A-10 conference play begins New Year's Eve against the Bonnies. 2 o'clock special start time on New Year's Eve. And back to American, another. Also some ties with Niagara.
Very well coached group by Dwayne Simpkins, the former DeMatha and Maryland product, and longtime George Mason assistant at one time.
Selected by Lewis, recovered by Short. Shot clock under 5. A steal by VCU. Lewis will pull it out because VCU does not have to shoot. And for the midway portion of that second half, it looked like VCU was able to get back on track. Coach, they outscored Niagara 47-24 in the final 20 minutes after only leading by 3 at halftime.
Well, I think the defensive message got across to this team, but certainly very, very much room for improvement.
Horn sounds, and this one is in the bag for VCU as they win it 84-58 over a game Purple Eagles squad out of Niagara, coached by Greg Paulus. As we will come back.